does that even mean, Bowers Game Corner?
Ahoy there, YouTube! I'm back again today for another game review, and today I'm very excited to check out Triassic Terror from Eagle Griffin Games. This is for 2 to 6 players, ages 14 plus. It'll take you about 90 minutes to 2 hours to play. And in Triassic Terror, you are going to be taking control of little dinosaurs in this area control game, trying to eat other dinosaurs and spread your herd all around an island. That's what it's called. But you have to be wary because there's volcanoes and there's raptors and there's T-Rexes going around, and people are going to be trying to screw you over in this somewhat mean area control game. It plays up to 6 players, but does it play up to 6 players well? Let's open it up. I'll tell you what I think about it. Alrighty then, we're going to take a look at what you're going to get inside of Triassic Terror. So first and foremost, we're going to handy dandy rule booklet. You're only going to need the first 13 pages, which are double-sided, full color, full of pictures and illustrations. They really went out of their way to try and help you out and how to figure this game. And it's a very well done rule booklet. So big thumbs up on that rule booklet. So in Triassic Terror, you're going to be taking one tribe of dinosaurs, which will be different colors, and you are going to try and have control over various different areas. Now, one thing I do want to mention right from the get-go, I'm going to be saying areas, I'm going to be saying habitats, and I'm going to be saying environments. And when you learn those three, it's important to learn those three when you're playing the game. These are environments. So there's 4 different environments in the game. There's 12 different areas. These are areas, these big circular spots right here where you're going to be placing your dinosaurs. And then habitats are the little circle spots all around the board. So I will be alluding to those throughout the review, and I did want to mention that. So in the game, you are going to take your dinosaurs and you are going to try and gain control of the various different areas. So this is an area, this is an area, this is an area. And if you have the most dinosaurs in that area, your dinosaurs will go to the highest numbered stone right there. So these are called scoring stones. And if you have the most dinosaurs there, then you will have control of that area and you will gain points throughout the game. There's going to be 3 different phases in which you score. As you can see up there in the top right-hand corner, you're going to be playing through 9 rounds, at least in a 2-player game. If you're playing with more players, you'll play less rounds. And you're going to score here after the 3rd round, after the 6th round, and after the 9th round. So you're going to score how many points you have on the scoring stones, which is dictated by how many dinosaurs you have in various different areas. There's also bonuses that you'll be able to score if you're able to spread out your dinosaurs. So you have dinosaurs in all 4 different environments, or if you have the most dinosaurs in a particular environment. So those are different ways to score. Now, the crux of the game is going to be action selection. So, as you can see, there are 6 tiles over here. So let's turn it a little bit over there. There's going to be 6 tiles that you are going to be selecting. The bottom 2, when you first start the game, are going to have these little white dinos on them. I'll tell you about those a little bit later. And how this works is you're just going to select one of these tiles and then place your dinosaur there. This is selecting turn order and also selecting also selecting which action you're going to take. So if I took this tile right here, I would be able to do the herd growth action when it's my turn, and I also would go 4th in a 6-player game. Now, if I'm only playing in, say, a 3-player game and someone goes here and someone goes here, I would get to go 2nd. So this is just keeping track of turn order. In addition to grabbing an action tile on your turn, you also might get one of these environment cards right here, and you only get these sporadically throughout the game. You'll have one face-up option, or you can draw the top one blindly, and this is going to allow you to essentially spawn a herd of dinosaurs in a different location to help you spread around the map. So I could either spawn in the mountain volcano area over here, or I could take the top card, which would be the forest, but I don't know it is the forest. When you first start the game, you're going to start over here in the swamps, and you're going to do your best to try and grow your herds of dinosaurs and also spread them out. So we'll go over the 6 different actions. You'll get a feel for how the game works, because really these 6 different actions are the main 100% key element to the game. So first, we have the T-Rex. And as you might notice, there is a T-Rex. Actually, you wouldn't notice because he's all the way over here because the board is so massive. He's all the way over here. So he's going to start spawned on the board. So if you take the T-Rex option, you're going to be able to take control of the T-Rex. So you're going to have one T-Rex, which is actually this guy right here. And you will replace the T-Rex on the board with your T-Rex. So your own purple T-Rex is going to be stomping around the board, eating other dinosaurs. He's also going to count as 3 dinosaurs for area control aspects. And he doesn't go to individual spots. He just goes to an area. So he would not go right here, per se. He would actually go kind of like right there. So he's just in that area kind of controlling. So if he moves one space, if you move your purple dinosaur one space, you get to eat 5 of your opponent's dinosaurs, which is huge. If you move him 2 spaces, you get to eat 3 of the dinosaurs. And this is really one of the cruxes of the game. There is a lot of meanness in this area control game, but that is the nature of the beast. So the T-Rex is going to essentially give you 3 dinosaurs you'll be able to put on the board. In actuality, it's just 1 T-Rex. And he's going to allow you to eat your opponents. Now, the downside of the T-Rex is, though, the next time someone else takes the T-Rex, you take your T-Rex off the board, and they put their T-Rex onto the board. So it is a shifting 3 dinosaurs that are going to be going on the board. Next, we have the new environment. And actually, this will be a good time to tell you about what these environment cards do as well. So we alluded a little bit to the environment cards. When you get an environment card, it's going to allow you to spawn 3 dinosaurs on a particular habitat. The new environment works the exact same way. You get to essentially put 3 dinosaurs anywhere on the island that you want, as long as you choose an area. So it's going to allow you to essentially get another one of these cards, but a wild one of these cards. Next, we have the migration action, and this is definitely one that you really need to make sure you're teaching people. They have to be paying attention when you're teaching it, because you're going to be able to migrate your dinosaurs. So you can move them from area to area, or you can move them from habitat, or environment to environment. Now, when you move from environment to environment, one of your dinosaurs is unfortunately going to die because they can't deal with the climate change. But there is an interesting aspect to this, though, as dinosaurs are stupid, as we all know. So when dinosaurs move from one area to another area, they're actually going to take other people's dinosaurs with them. So let's just say purple was right here, and blue was here, and green was here, and this purple decides to go over here to the yellow. They're going to lose one of their dinosaurs, so this counts as 3 dinosaurs, by the way. So they would only have 2 dinosaurs, but they would also steal 1 dinosaur from this guy and 1 dinosaur from that guy. So in actuality, they would now have 4 dinosaurs over in that other area. So it is a really interesting aspect to the game, the migration. I really do like it, but I'll talk more about that in the pros and the cons. So next we have the Raptors, and there's going to be 2 Raptors on the board. Raptors. One's going to spawn up here, and then one's going to spawn all the way up there. And they are Raptor spawn locations, as you can see, which help you out when you're first setting up the game. And you get to move Raptor 1 1 space and Raptor 2 1 or 2 spaces, and wherever you move them, they will be able to eat 2 dinosaurs on that location. Also, since all the other dinosaurs are scared, they're going to be able to force different dinosaurs to scatter, to go to surrounding areas, which can be very good for you to scatter your opponents, but also from time to time, especially in the right circumstances, it can be great to scatter your own dinosaurs, especially if you want to cover more ground. So let's just say you're right here, and nobody's up here. You would definitely want to scatter that one, because boom, that's 6 points right there. So scattering with the Raptors is an interesting aspect to the game. Next, we have herd growth. So you're going to add 3 to one herd and add 2 to another herd. It's pretty self-explanatory. You are going to be growing 2 of your herds. And then last but not least, the last action we have is hatch. And this one is actually a 2-part action. So first thing you're going to do is you are going to add 3 to an existing herd. So it's a little bit like the herd growth. You have something hatching. However, you also get to move the pterodactyl, and you get to move him up to 2 spaces, and he can really fly around the board. He is just moving and a shaking, and he gets to eat too. So this little pterodactyl tile is going to be flying around eating people's dinosaurs, which is fun as well. So you're going to select the actions. Everyone's going to pick an action, and then they're going to put their dinosaur in that location. Now, you might have noticed that there are these white dinosaur tokens right here. What the heck are these about? Well, if there's a white dinosaur token there, on your turn, you're going to be able to essentially get rid of that white dinosaur token and put one of your purple dinosaur tokens anywhere on the board that already has some of your dinosaurs. With whatever actions are left over after everyone's taken their turn, and when you take your turn, it's a very free-form turn. You can play your tile first, or you can play your environment card first, or you can move dinosaurs first. You can really do it how you want to do it. You get to do that, and then once everybody's taken their turn, you slide up any of the remaining tiles. So in this terrible, so let's just say it was like this one would slide up, these 2 would go down here, we'd mix them up, and then, oh, excuse me, I messed that completely up. They would slide down, and then all 4 of these would get white dinosaurs on them to make them a little bit more lucrative so other people will take them. Granted, in a 6-player game, that's kind of a moot point. So one last thing I do want to mention is that you're going to have 2 one-time per game tiles that you're going to be able to use. This one is very similar to, I believe it is the hatch, where you're going to be able to add dinosaurs to different locations that you're on. And this one is the interesting one. This is a volcano, and I really like the volcano tile. If you use it in the right circumstance, it can really help you. So essentially, a volcano has erupted in a certain area, and it's going to kill off people in the most popular zone and then kind of trickle its way down. So this is a good way for you to potentially kill the person in first place, and only you kill yourself as well, but you kill yourself a little bit less. But those are only one-time per use games. Anywho, you're going to continue to go based on X amount of rounds, X amount of rounds being how many players you have. So depending on how many players you have, you'll play a certain number of rounds, and whoever has the most points at the end of the game will win. Also, don't forget, you're going to be scoring 3 times throughout the game. But that, in a nutshell, is how Triassic Terror is played. Alrighty then, Triassic Terror from Eagle Griffin Games. What are my final thoughts? Let's cover the pros. Let's go over the cons. First, on the con side, game's not going to be for everybody for a couple of different reasons. First and foremost, it says it plays up to 6 players, but I really wasn't feeling it that much at 2 and 3 players. I liked it best once you got to the higher player counts, just because there's more stuff going on, and it's not bad at 2 or 3, but it's definitely not one I would grab, especially considering that it is a lengthier game at 2 and 3 players. So I liked it best at the higher player counts. Also, if you play with people who do not like mean games, this might not be for them. I mean, most area control games are mean, and this is a very mean game. I mean, you're going to be sending Raptors and T-Rexes and pterodactyls, and you're going to be, doing volcanoes and just doing all sorts of stuff to kind of screw people over, and some people are just not going to be a big fan of that. Another con that I have with this game is some of the colors are hard to distinguish. In particular, the orange, red, and pink. You're like, I think that's my color. It doesn't matter so much for these, which is the best thing, because the little dinosaurs are primarily what you're going to be doing, the little wooden dinosaurs. But when it comes to the little plastic dinosaurs, they're a little bit more difficult to see than you would like them to. But it is a minor nitpick there. It's still awesome if there's dinosaur components. Another comment I have with the game is that there's only 3 of these little cheat sheet cards. I wish there was 6. Now, granted, you could just set them between 2 people, but it would be nice if everyone had their own. But on the flip side of that, the game already takes up a huge chunk of table space, which is another con that some people are going to have. No, not a big deal for me because I got a big table, but this is a big game. You're talking about, I think this is probably a Ticket to Ride size board, maybe a little bit smaller, maybe a little bit larger. It's a very large board. It's going to take up a decent space, plus you're going to have all your counters on the side. You're going to have these player aid cards. You're going to have environment cards. You got to put the box, well, you probably won't put the box on the table. So it's a rather large game. So it is something I did want to mention, not really a con, but something that you should be cognizant of if you have a small table. It's also a large box. It is a larger box, but there's a lot of stuff in the box, so that's really not a big deal. Any other cons that I have with the game? Oh, last but not least, it's when you're first learning the game, it's area versus habitat versus environment, and it just takes you a little bit to get your brain wrapped around that. As you saw in the middle part, me going back to it was just like, oh wait, this is the environment, this is the area, this is the habitat. It's a little bit of a nuisance when you're first reading the rule book, like, all right, this is the area, this is the environment, this is the habitat, this is the area, this is the environment. But it's not a big deal. It's just terminology. Moving on to the pros, though, I really enjoyed Triassic Terror. Would I like it at 2 and 3 players? Do I recommend it at 2 and 3 players? Probably not. But if you're talking about 4, 5, and 6 players, I definitely can recommend this game. There's a couple big reasons why. First, theme. The theme comes across in this game. The theme and the mechanisms work hand in hand like peanut butter and jelly to create this cohesive game that I really did like. Like, everything thematically in this game just makes sense, and that's really cool when a game is able to pull this off. Also, at the higher player counts, you would think the game is going to stretch out and be way too long. That's not the case. And the reason why I think that's not the case is because the game is incredibly straightforward. It's very simple. After the first round, you pretty much know exactly what you're doing. You're drawing a tile. You might be drawing an environment card. You're going to see what turn order you are. Then you're going to do your actions. You're going to be moving stuff, doing this, launching stuff, hatching eggs, so on and so forth. It's a very straightforward, simple, streamlined game, which I do like. The rule booklet is very well done as well, which really helps this game's cause. I like the graphic design. I like the artwork. Obviously, the components are top-notch. Having little dinosaurs moving around the board is really, really cool. So no complaints I have about that. The box insert is well done. It holds everything nice, and there's actually plenty of room still left in that box. It's just overall, production quality, top notch. The game at 4 to 6 players, top notch. I really enjoyed it. Streamlined, yes. Just everything about this game is pretty well done, aside from that 2 and 3 player version of the game. So if you are looking for a game for your game night that you routinely hit, say 4, 5, and 6 players, absolutely might want to check out Triassic Terror from Eagle Griffin Games. One that I like. It's going to be going on my shelf, and when I hit that 5 and 6 player count, you better believe this is when I'm like, hey, you guys want to play Triassic Terror? Because it is pretty dang fun. If you like area control, that's another big thing, though. And that's another thing that I forgot to mention, as both a pro and a con. This game is just straight up area control. Like, it is... There's very few other moving parts in this game aside from the area control. Now, there is the action selection, obviously, and you have the environments, and you have your special tokens that are going to do different things. But it's all a means to an end to get to that area control. So if you don't like area control, this one also might not be for you. But I already said all that stuff. Triassic Terror, I do recommend it. I did enjoy it, and it's going onto my shelf for my 4 to 6 player game nights. If you enjoyed this review, please be sure to click on that subscribe button down below in the comments below. Let me know. Dinosaurs. What would you do what would you want us to do if we found out they were back? That there was this secret underground lab where they had been alive all this time and they've evolved so they can now speak to us. Would you trust them? Would you trust those dinosaurs? Wow, this is a really bizarre, out there question. For me personally, I think that'd be awesome. I think that would be super cool. But yeah, because here's the thing. We have so much military and technology that we could take them out if they ever step to us. But yeah, it'd be terrifying, but it'd be awesome at the same time. So I definitely would be pro dinosaurs coming back. But let me know in the comments below, would you? And as always, thanks for your time, YouTube.